Committee. This meeting is being broadcast live over the internet and will be available to view online now and in the future. May I remind members that as per statutory guidance made under Section 4 of the Local Government Wales Measure 2011 and our formally adopted hybrid meeting policy, any member attending a meeting remotely must be able to be seen and heard by the members and officers who are attending the meeting, as well as by members of the public viewing the meeting. So can I ask that you please all use your cameras for the duration of the meeting. We welcome the use of Welsh language at meetings. I've had no requests for people to speak Welsh today, so this meeting will be conducted in English only. Members in the chamber, please be aware that we're all on camera and that you may be visible on screen when people around you are speaking. And please remember to speak clearly into your microphone. Members participating remotely, can you please refrain from using the chat function and instead use the raised hand icon to indicate when you want to speak. And please remember to keep your microphone muted when you are not talking. So, thank you for that. Right, moving on to the agenda. Item 1, the attendance and apologies. Chris, will you have the apologies, please?
We have, Chair, we've had apologies from Councillor Liam Cowles.
Great, thank you very much. We now move on to item 2, which is declarations of interest. Members, do you have any interest to declare anyone? No. Excellent. We'll therefore move on to item 3 then, which is the minutes of the last meeting on the 27th of the 6th, 2024, pages 3 to 6. Members, can you state you want to raise anything in regard to the minutes? Has anybody got anything? If not, I'll take that as approved. Are we all happy to approve them? Yeah, thank you. Right, we'll move on to item 4 then, which is the minutes of the previous licensed hearings, page 7 to page 22. Have you all read through that? And you happy to note the minutes from that? Great, thank you. We'll now move on to item 5 then. It's a review of the council statement of gambling principles, page 23 to 96. Robin, you delivering on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the only report for consideration by the Statutory Licensing Committee today. It's regarding the Council's statement of gambling principles. So this is a matter that's was considered by the committee at its last meeting to provide an update on the review of the policy. Section 349 of the Gambling Act 2005 requires that licensing authorities shall, before each successive period of 3 years, prepare a statement of principles that they propose to apply in exercising their functions under the Act during that period, and then publish that statement. The Council's current statement of principles covers the period from the 31st of January 2022 to the 30th of January 2025. So we're now at the point where we need to review the policy and publish a new statement to come into effect on the 31st of January 2025. On the 27th of June this year, the committee considered a draft revision of the statement of principles. The suggested changes were minor and mainly included amendments to data, dates and references, rather than any change to any meaning of any principle within the statement. And members were also advised that the government were undertaking a review of the Social Responsibility Code of Practice, and final changes are likely to be in force in January 2025. But the Gambling Commission has indicated that local authorities should still proceed with the updates to the policy, as the proposals in the Code of Practice are unlikely to impact local authority statement policies. And it is also a statutory requirement that local authorities review their policies every 3 years. So we need to proceed even though a review is ongoing. The committee considered the draft statement in June, as I say, and resolved for that to go out for consultation. And that took place between the 3rd of July 2024 and the 6th of September 2024. During that time period, we received 2 responses. The first was from a former licence holder to say that licence holder to say that they were no longer operating and as such had no comments to make. So they still had their licence and therefore received a copy of the consultation documents, but but they advised they weren't trading any longer. And the second response was received from an Iron Bevan University Health Board, and they recommended that, they commended the licensing authority's approach within the policy, and asked that comments provided are considered in the policy in the policy before it comes into effect next year. Reference was made to the true cost of gambling and the case study conducted by the Health Board and Bangor University. This has been included in section 2.6 of the draft policy, which is shown as a track change within the document. And that study emphasises the need for continued collaboration and data sharing between the University Health Board, the police and also the local authority to deal with problematic gambling areas and provide information on training providers and counselling services that are available. So a copy of the response from the University Health Board is attached to the report as Appendix A, apologies, and that is on pages 29 to 30 of the agenda pack. The amended draft statement of principles is also attached to the report as an appendix. That's Appendix B, and that's on pages 31, or begins at page 31 of the report, of the agenda pack, apologies. So the statement of gambling principles can only be approved by council, but any recommendation made by the licensing committee in respect to the draft statement will be reported to council for its consideration. And members are asked to consider the amendments in view of the consultation response received. The second aspect of this report covers the council's resolution regarding the issuing of casino premises licences. So section 166 of the Gambling Act 2005 allows the council to make a resolution to not issue a casino premises licence, and such a resolution is published within the Statement of Gambling Principles. Resolutions have been made by the council every 3 years when reviewing the Statement of Gambling Principles since 2007, but in November 2018 and in November 2021 the council decided to not make a new resolution. So up until November 18, the council's stance was that it would not issue a casino premises licence, but that changed in 2018 and is still the case in the current policy that there is no resolution to not issue a casino premises licence. The reason for that was in 2018 concerns were raised about the impact of gambling on communities and also the suitability of the nature of jobs that casino would introduce to the borough. So it's decided the council's ability to consider applications on a case-by-case basis rather than a blanket ban should not be removed by making a new resolution. That decision was made again in November 2021 and has been incorporated into the current policy. So this, the current statement is that there are currently no casinos operating within the borough. Following consultation, the decision of the council was not to adopt a resolution not to issue casino premises licence within the county borough of Torvine, as provided in section 166 of the Gambling Act 2005. This resolution will be reviewed as necessary and at least every 3 years in line with the adoption of the Statement of Gambling Policy. So that's the reason for it being considered today. It's not been proposed to change as part of the Statement of Principles, but if the council were to consider making a new resolution to not issue casino premises licences, any principle or matter may be taken into account, so not just the licensing objectives. The resolution would apply to the whole district and to all new casino premises because it would not be possible to limit the effect of the resolution to certain geographical areas or categories of casinos. So any existing casino premises licence or provisional statement issued prior to the resolution would also be unaffected by the decision, although to date we have had no casino premises licences issued for premises located in Torvine. As with the making of the Statement of Principles, the resolution to not issue casino premises licences must be made by the council, but the licensing committee may make suggestions and or recommendations to council. So the committee may therefore wish to consider whether the recommendation that a resolution to not issue casino premises licence should be made by the council. The committee may wish to consider any positive or negative impacts that a casino may bring to the borough. And if no resolution were made, any new application for casino premises licence will be subject to consultation. If relevant representations are received, the application will be brought before the licensing panel for determination. The implications associated with the report, so the financial implications, risks are set out in section 6 of the report, but I'll now move to the recommendations, which are in section 8. So the recommendations are that the committee agree the draft statement of principles for the period 2025 to 2028. That's Appendix B, subject to any amendments that they wish to make and recommend to Council. And 2, that the committee recommend to Council that no resolution should be made to not issue casino premises licences, and that the approach previously taken to consider each application on a case-by-case basis be continued. That's report.
Thank you, Robin. Any members got any questions regarding the report? Quite a long one. If not, the recommendations are on page 26 of your agenda. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Councillor Clarkson, you just come up on my screen. So ask your question, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just wondering whether or not, in light of their comments, the Nira and Bevan University Health Board have seen the amended draft, and whether they're okay with that, with the amendments made.
They haven't seen the draft as such, as I understand it, but their comments have been incorporated. So we've taken on board what they've said, and it's just been included. So I don't anticipate they'd have an issue. But yeah, no, they've not seen it as such.
Do you have anything to come back on that, Councillor Clarkson?
No, it's courtesy might have been good for them to see it. Maybe it's something we can consider if one of our major sort of working partners makes comments in the future.
Sorry, if I could just come back there. Unfortunately, there's quite a tight turnaround time for this to get to Council, but we can just run this past the Health Board, get it out to them today, and just ask that they give us comments sort of over the next couple of days, because it's due to be, I think the report's published early next week for the next Council meeting. But yeah, at least that will give some reassurance that they're happy with it, if that would be satisfactory.
I think that would be good. I've read the amendments and they seem to be in keeping with covering the points that they raised, but as they took the time to put comments in, it would be good to just pass the amendments back to them and make sure that they're happy with them. I'm sure they will be. They do seem more than adequate from my reading of them.
We can double check that with them, and then obviously we'll take that on board for any future reviews that we do with this or the statement of licensing policy.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, anyway. Has any other members got questions? Like I said, if not, I'll double check now. If we move on to the recommendations again on page 26, hopefully everybody's read what the recommendations are. Are we happy to agree the recommendations? Anybody don't agree with the recommendations? And any abstentions? No? No? So that's been agreed. We move on to item 6, which is the date of the next meeting, which is 28th to the 11th, 24. So we go on to item 7, which is the exclusion of press and public. So will you shut the system down now for us? Yeah.